I want you to picture this. You've just dozed off after a long day. Your body's finally starting to relax, and then, that familiar urge hits. You wake up, again, out of bed, again, another night, the same routine. I know that feeling, and I have a feeling, you might know it too. Frequent nighttime urination, especially if you're over 50 or living with diabetes, doesn't just mess with your sleep. It affects your heart health, your memory, and maybe worst of all, that quiet sense that you're not fully in control of your body anymore. But here's the thing, sometimes the solution doesn't come in a prescription bottle. Sometimes, it's already sitting in your kitchen. I'm an internist, and over the years working with older adults, I've seen firsthand how small changes, like adding a few specific veggies into your daily meals, can make a surprisingly big difference. So in today's video, I want to share with you 5 vegetables that have helped many of my patients sleep better, calm their bladders, and most importantly, feel at peace when nighttime comes. Are you open to trying something simple, natural, and maybe even life-changing? If you are, let's get started. You've probably felt this before. It's the middle of the night. You didn't wake up because of a bad dream, no. It's your body nudging you out of bed to go to the bathroom. Then you come back, hoping to fall asleep again, but the sleep isn't as deep as it was. It's different, lighter, interrupted. One of my patients, Mr. Allen, he's 68, once told me, "Doc, I'm not afraid of getting older. I'm just afraid of nights without rest." And I got it. I really did. Because sleep isn't just about closing your eyes, it's the time your body resets, recovers, and finds peace between the noise of the day. That's why I want to share something simple with you. Something small, but it could make a big difference. And that something is celery. I know, you might not expect it. But this humble little stalk? It naturally helps lower blood pressure, thanks to its potassium and a group of plant compounds called phytonutrients. Celery gently relaxes the blood vessels, takes pressure off the kidneys, and that means your body makes less urine during the night. It's not a magic fix. But from the hundreds of stories I've heard over the years, adding celery to your lunch, just that one change, has helped many people sleep through the night without constant interruptions. So, would you be willing to give that small change a try? I want you to picture this for a moment. You're sitting in your familiar kitchen, and right in front of you is a carrot. Just an ordinary vegetable, right? But you know, after years of working with older patients, I've come to realize something. Sometimes the simplest things hold the greatest healing power. There was a woman named Margaret, 72 years old. She came to see me because of frequent nighttime urination, along with a slight burning sensation and discomfort in her bladder. It wasn't a major infection, just a low-grade, chronic inflammation, the kind that slowly chips away at your peace. She wasn't exhausted from illness, she was exhausted from broken sleep. So I suggested something gentle. Add carrots to her lunch, into a warm soup for dinner, maybe a light salad in the afternoon. About a month later, she came back and said, "Doctor, I'm sleeping again, not perfectly, but it feels like healing." Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, a natural source of vitamin A, which helps soothe and restore the lining of the bladder. When that lining starts to heal, the sensitivity fades, and suddenly, that tiny urge that used to wake you up at night doesn't anymore. It's just a carrot, but for a body that's trying to heal, it can be nature's quiet message, "You're safe now." So let me ask you, are you giving your body the quiet care it's been asking for? Let me paint a moment for you. It's late afternoon, the sun is soft, the house is quiet, you're sitting by the window, settling in for an evening of calm, and instead of reaching for a coffee or something sweet, you pour yourself a smoothie, light, comforting, and deeply nourishing. It's just a simple blend: fresh spinach, almond milk, a pinch of cinnamon, and a drop or two of vanilla. Sounds basic, right? But trust me, this little drink is more than it seems. It's a quiet recipe for a restful night. Spinach is full of magnesium, a mineral many of us over 50 are running low on, and it helps relax your muscles and calm your nervous system. Cinnamon? It helps improve insulin sensitivity and keeps your blood sugar steady, crucial if you're managing diabetes or struggling with sleep. And almond milk is gentle, sugar-free, and a natural source of magnesium too. I had a patient once Mr. Charles, 65 years old, who told me. I swapped out my afternoon coffee for this smoothie, and for the first time in nearly a year, I actually slept through the night. You know, when you're younger, sleep just happens, but as we age, sleep becomes a gift. And sometimes, that gift starts with something as small and as powerful as an afternoon smoothie. Have you made space for that kind of habit in your day? Let me share something with you, something that doesn't get talked about much when it comes to nighttime urination. Most people wouldn't think this, but your gut can have a pretty big impact on your bladder. And honestly, it happens more often than you'd expect, especially for folks over 50. I had a patient once. Miss Helen, 67 years old. She always said her bladder felt sensitive, especially at night. But here's the strange part, her tests were totally normal. No infection, no inflammation. It wasn't until we started looking at her digestion that the real picture showed up. Turns out, she was dealing with chronic constipation, the kind that doesn't always scream for attention, but quietly builds pressure inside, pressing down on the bladder like an invisible weight. And the fix? Surprisingly simple. She added more carrots, spinach, and a little roasted squash to her evening meals, foods rich in soluble fiber that are easy to digest but work wonders inside the gut. Within a few weeks, the bloating eased, and those middle-of-the-night bathroom trips? They stopped being a nightly routine. You see, the body works as one connected system. When the gut is supported, the bladder doesn't have to fight so hard. Sometimes, just one veggie-filled dinner can give your sleep a second chance. Have you ever thought about that connection? I want you to picture something simple with me for a second. It's lunchtime. You're in your kitchen, making a light, comforting pot of soup, and into that pot, you toss a small handful of fresh parsley. Maybe to you, it's just for flavor, but to me, parsley is one of the gentlest, most underrated natural remedies, especially for folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've had so many patients ask me, "Doc, is there anything I can do to help my body get rid of extra water, without waking up all night to pee?" And more often than not, I point them to this humble little herb. Parsley is what we call a mild diuretic. Unlike the strong ones that can irritate the bladder, parsley works quietly. It helps your body release fluid, but during the day, which means your kidneys can finally rest at night. A warm bowl of soup with parsley at lunch, or a sprinkle of it in your afternoon salad. Sometimes that's all it takes to set the stage for a more peaceful night. So let me ask you, are you letting the small things take care of your sleep? 2. I want you to picture a moment, one that might feel all too familiar. You're sound asleep, deep, peaceful, and then suddenly, almost like a silent signal, your body stirs. It's not a noise. It's not a bad dream. It's that tiny little cramp in your lower belly. Your bladder is calling, and just like that, your sleep is taken from you. Have you ever felt that? One of my patients, Jim, 70 years old, once told me, "Doc, it feels like a soft slap to the face of my sleep, night after night." And the amazing thing is, just one small change helped him get back to the kind of deep rest he thought was gone for good. That change? He started adding spinach to his dinner. Spinach is rich in magnesium and vitamin B6, two nutrients that play a big role in calming the nervous system and relaxing the smooth muscles of the bladder. When those silent spasms start to settle down, the body finally gets the rest it's been craving. Because sleep, for us, isn't just rest. It's peace. And maybe, just maybe, it's a gift you can give yourself, starting tonight. Have you tried giving yourself that gift lately? Let me paint a picture for you. It's nighttime. The house is quiet. You're winding down, about to head to bed. But before that, almost out of habit, you pour yourself a glass of water. Or maybe a cup of sweet herbal tea, or a diet soda from the fridge. Seems harmless, right? But here's the thing, when you're over 50, even a small habit like what you drink before bed can shape the entire quality of your night. I had a patient once, Linda, 66 years old. She did everything right, clean eating, yoga, early bedtime, but every single night, like clockwork, she'd wake up twice to use the bathroom. We looked at her evening routine. And guess what? That one innocent sip of water, just to soothe her throat, before bed, that was the culprit. You see, when you drink too close to bedtime, especially things with caffeine, sugar, or preservatives, your bladder doesn't get to rest. It gets irritated, like a kid who's been kept up past their bedtime. So here's my advice. Let your body start closing the day a little earlier than you think. Even with water. Sometimes, deep sleep begins with stillness, not just around you, but inside you. Ever noticed that in your own nights? Let me ask you to imagine this. You're having dinner, slow, peaceful, no rush. On your plate is a serving of roasted carrots, soft, naturally sweet, simple, but comforting. No one really thinks much about carrots, do they? They're always just there, sitting quietly in the corner of the kitchen. But for me, and for many of my older patients, carrots have become a quiet little friend of sleep. One patient, Mr. Robert, 69 years old, used to struggle with sleepless nights from waking up too often to use the bathroom. He wasn't drinking too much water. He followed his diet. But during one of our chats, I asked him, "Have you ever tried swapping your evening starch for carrots?" Here's the thing. Carrots have a low glycemic index. That means when you eat them at night, they don't spike your blood sugar. And when your blood sugar stays steady, your kidneys don't have to work overtime filtering glucose, which means fewer bathroom trips at night. Sleep doesn't just come from quiet surroundings. Sometimes, it comes from inner balance, from something as small and simple as a carrot, eaten at just the right time. Have you ever thought of it that way? I want you to imagine this for a moment. It's late afternoon, the sunlight outside has softened, and in your kitchen, there's a pot of soup gently simmering on the stove. You can smell the scent of onion, carrot, and celery floating through the air. Nothing fancy, no complicated seasoning, just simple, familiar ingredients, with a quiet kind of healing. One of my patients, Marianne, she's 71, once told me how every evening, her legs would start to swell, her belly felt heavy with water, and her nights, always interrupted by trips to the bathroom. But after just 1 week of swapping her evening meal for a light veggie soup, with celery, carrots, and onion, things started to shift. You see, this kind of soup doesn't just warm your stomach. It gently nudges your body to let go, to release fluids at the right time. In the right way. When you support your body's natural rhythm in the afternoon, your kidneys can finally rest at night. And sleep? It becomes deeper, quieter. Sometimes, balance doesn't come from big changes, but from one simple bowl of soup, eaten at just the right moment. Have you ever given your body that kind of gentle reset before bed? I want you to picture a quiet evening. The lights are dim, the house is calm, and you're getting ready for a good night's sleep. But then, just for fun, you check your phone. Maybe scroll through a few channels on TV. And just like that, sleep starts to drift a little further away. One of my patients, Gerald, 73, once told me, "I don't go to bed late, but I don't sleep deep. It's like my brain still has the lights on." And he wasn't wrong. Blue light from screens, even when you feel sleepy, keeps sending signals to the brain, "Hey, it's not bedtime yet." This matters even more if you struggle with nighttime urination. Because your sympathetic nervous system, the one that helps regulate signals from your bladder, needs to start winding down around 9 p.m. But when your eyes are still locked on a screen, your body gets the wrong message. Stay alert. Stay ready. The truth is, sleep doesn't arrive just because we want it to. It arrives when our rhythms say, now. And sometimes, turning off the screen at the right time, is how you turn on the peace within. Have you ever tried resting, even before bed begins? I want you to picture a slow evening. No rush, no buzzing phone, just a quiet, ordinary night where you sit down, take a breath, and make yourself something simple to wind down the day. But instead of reaching for a salty bag of chips or a sugary cookie, you go for a plate of roasted carrots, cut into soft chunks, tossed with a little extra virgin olive oil, sprinkled with dill, then roasted until the edges are just golden and caramelized. Sweet and earthy. One of my patients, Ruth, she's 68, once told me, "Doctor, this dish helps me cool down every evening. Not just my stomach, but my mind, too." And honestly, she was right. Carrots are easy to digest, gentle on the body, and full of calming antioxidants. Olive oil soothes your digestive tract, and dill has a way of calming the nerves. Put them together, And you've got more than just a snack, it's comfort. For both body and spirit. Let me ask you, that final bite before bed, is it nourishing you? Or giving your body more work to do? Maybe it's time to make a softer choice. Maybe it's time for roasted carrots. I want you to imagine your body like a biological clock, and every little thing you do before bedtime, it's like turning the hands of that clock. Either in rhythm or out of sync. One of my patients once asked me, "Doc, I eat healthy, I take care of myself, so why am I still waking up in the middle of the night to pee?" And when we took a closer look at her evening routine, the issue wasn't what she was eating, it was when she was eating it. Your body needs time to digest. To release fluids naturally, not right before bed. Caffeine, sugary drinks, sodas, they might seem harmless in small amounts. But after 9 p.m., they can stir up your bladder. And your nervous system right along with it. And here's something else I've learned over the years. Good sleep doesn't just come from what you eat, it comes from a quiet mind. A few minutes of light reading. Slow breathing. Letting the day settle, that can be the best medicine of all. If you're trying to improve your sleep, start tracking. Write down how many times you wake up. Your blood sugar at bedtime. How rested you feel in the morning. Because sometimes, change doesn't start with something big, it starts with how well you're listening to your body each day. If this kind of content speaks to you, if you found something helpful, or even just something that made you think a little differently about your health and your sleep, then I'd love for you to stay connected. Click subscribe, and turn on that little bell, so you won't miss future videos like this. I share practical, gentle, and thoughtful ways to take care of your body, especially as we grow older. And if there's someone in your life, a friend, a sibling, a partner, who might benefit from this too, feel free to share it with them. Sometimes, just one simple change can ripple into something bigger. I'm glad you're here, and I'd be honored to keep walking this journey with you.